What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Wyatt Bagnall.
Taylor Wallerstein.
And we've got a packed show for you today. A couple of breaking news things with the NFL and the MLB, along with our AFC South all-time rosters. So we are going to dive right in.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to start or should I start?
Go ahead and start us off.
Okay. So I'm going to start us off with something we've been waiting for quite a while. It's not finalized, but it is pretty damn close, which is it looks like Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended 6 games. The NFL is looking like they want to appeal it, but apparently it's a very risky move. If they appeal it and it goes into this thing, he could end up not being suspended at all and just playing. So I don't know. I think it's a weird scenario.
It's uncharted waters for sure.
Yeah,
because it's the judge has been appointed by the Players Association, so this is to avoid the usual, Roger Goodell judge, jury, executioner type of guy of I'm going to make the decision and punish him however I see fit. Yep. I don't really know if Goodell wants to give up that power.
I think it's smart of him not to. I think it's smart of him to approach it like this. Yeah, it's a matter of if he's okay with it. The other issue is public perception's bad on this. Obviously, it's going to stay that way.
Yeah.
But the other thing to consider now is in pursuing anything further. He hasn't been indicted in criminal court. They've dismissed all the charges for a criminal suit. So that's a problem. Most of the charges are settled now. And so it's just one of these things where it's publicly it looks awful. And I personally think he should get more than 6 games.
Yeah.
But from a pure logic perspective of lining it up with the other things that have happened in this vein, from what I'm hearing, they doubled what is normal. And so that's the 6 games. Normally, if issues like this would be 3, but they doubled it because of extenuating circumstances or something like that. But it's just it's a weird one. But it's just one of those situations where I don't know if the NFL, if they try to extend it, I don't know if they can win it, and I don't know if it's worth it for them to keep battling it. I think you could probably get it up to 8 games, and Deshaun Watson and his camp probably wouldn't argue. But I think if they tried to go for a full season, they'd have to go to court, and then that would mean he might just end up playing the whole year while it's stuck in court. So I don't. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's such a horrible situation, and unfortunately, where it continues to be talked about in a negative light of how it's being handled, and that's really the worst part about it. Is just I as much as I would love to just be why couldn't you just put it at 12 games, and then we're arguing is 12 games or full season enough? Yeah, because then you have a little bit more of a case in that situation. Because 12 games.
But this is the amount that Kamara is suspended for a single incident.
This is DeAndre Hopkins. This apparently is far less than Calvin Ridley's.
Apparently, it's it has to do with the fact that it was a non-violent incident. But granted, it's 30 of them. It's just a weird scenario. In the NFL, honestly, I think the NFL did the right thing by not just coming in and wielding the hammer when it's still in the court system and there's still a lot of other things that need to be decided. I think they approached it right. I think that the outcome might not be what they were hoping for, but it's just, I don't know, they're in a tough spot. I think he should be suspended 8 to 12 games, considering he already missed the full year and a lot of the cases have now been settled. He's obviously still not a great guy, but it's just one of those things of the precedent is if it got dealt with, he's still suspended, but he's not guilty in a criminal court. We can't do anything over the top to him, and he's already missed a year. So it's just, I don't know. This is a weird one. It feels like a low number, but it also feels like the NFL might sort of be stuck.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it is that the NFL does have to make a tough decision here, which is in the first situation where they're using the Player Association assigned judge or whatever, whatever the terminology is. The NFL does have the ability to appeal, but on the first decision ever that is made by this appointed, olive branch between the league and the players, it's rocky territory for sure, because if I was watching Pat McAfee's show about this, and he said this defines how this is viewed in the future. Is this going to be something that players take seriously and the league takes seriously, or is this going to be a situation where the first decision this lady, this Judge Sue Robinson makes.
I don't think this has anything to do with the league. I think the league has viewed this seriously. It's been very well documented. They want to punish him harshly.
Yeah.
This is not an initial NFL verdict. This is the NFLPA verdict.
Yeah, and that's why I think the NFL does. I think they do got to step in and change it and make it a longer suspension.
But if this holds, if he just is out 6 games. Let's look at the football implications of this, because I've got the Browns schedule right here in the first 6 games.
Sweet.
Week 1, Carolina. With or without him, I think they'll beat Carolina.
Nah, I think they lose.
Baker
revenge game. Give it to Baker.
No, their roster...
With who? Jacoby Brissett?
They'll just run all over the Panthers.
I think Baker...
No. I think they'll take out Carolina.
Baker revenge.
I think Myles Garrett's going to fucking hunt his ass all day.
Oof. It's terrifying to think about, to be honest.
I think that the Browns are too much better everywhere else. They can beat the Browns another way. Jets win. Sure. Steelers coin flip. That all depends on how their quarterback's playing. But I'd say that at best, I think
Brissett beats the Jets.
Yes, because the rest of the Jets aren't there, dude. Again, this is not about only quarterback when you're talking about bad teams.
I know, but I just
the Browns will beat the Jets.
Be interesting.
The Jets are still a year away from even being competitive. The Browns are competitive no matter what.
It's weird to think about.
It is. But just roster-wise, the Browns are too far ahead. Pittsburgh, coin flip, it depends. I think that's a possible loss. Atlanta, I think that's a win.
Yeah.
Chargers, I go loss. Pats, I go coin flip. So I think
I give it a Pats.
I think it's possible.
That's when I say quarterback does.
I think it's possible though that if it's only 6 games, it is possible Cleveland can come out of it 4-2. If they come out of it 4-2 and then Deshaun Watson comes in, now the Browns, we have to actually talk about the Browns in the playoffs and them realizing the potential of that roster instead of if it was 8 to 12 games.
Does that not piss you off?
It pisses me off.
Pisses me off.
Well, also it should piss you off even more because the last thing
that's what I'm saying.
Because guess what? The Bengals don't get a crack at them before that, and the Baltimore would be Watson's first game back.
Baltimore's first game. I think
and then it'd be Cincy.
I think they'd lose to Baltimore, and then I think Cincy could also. I think here's what I'll flat out just say right now. If it's 6 games, I don't care what the fuck both of these teams look like week 7 and week 8. Cincy and Baltimore need to fucking beat them.
They need to beat them. Otherwise, they're
fucking solid.
Listen, here's the problem. If it's 6 games and he comes out and beats Baltimore and Cleveland, they'll win that division.
Yeah, it's not gonna look good.
They got the roster as of. I didn't talk about this too much before, but because it was all barring the Watson thing. If he is allowed to play the majority of the year, they're the best team in that division. It's not close. It's not close. No, don't play. They have the best. If he again, awful to say.
I'm never gonna sit here and say,
if he's
the best team in the division.
I know, but it's also awful to say but listen, if he plays, he might be the best quarterback in that division.
No, the best quarterback in that division is Joe Burrow.
It's not by a lot. If it is,
absolutely Joe Burrow.
It might be. He might be the best guy, human being.
Best quarterback,
dude. It's not by a lot. If at all.
If it absolutely is leagues above.
I'm just saying, you can say it all you want. I'm just saying, if it's only 6 games, Cleveland will be in the playoffs.
If it's only 6 games, okay, we're sticking strictly to football.
Yes.
I'm gonna get pissed again.
Yes, sticking just to football.
If it's only 6 games, yes, that is definitely we need the league to step up and punish the Browns. Basically, we need the league, and I don't mean by an actual suspension. I mean the league need the other 31 other fucking teams need to be okay, we need to be on our A game.
I don't think they can.
It is scary how good that team looks on paper, but again, I don't know how much I believe in Jacoby Brissett. I think they reasonably.
The problem is they got some. Well, even that's fine.
It's not terrible.
That if they are 3-3 out of those 6 games,
it's not bad.
Because I think Carolina, New York, and Atlanta mark them up. I think that those 3 teams are just not there.
They could beat Carolina and Atlanta. That I could go along with.
They'll beat the Jets.
I got some faith in Zach.
You shouldn't,
bro. Zach, are we forgetting who we're talking about here?
Yeah, there's no Cougars on the Browns though.
I'm sure there is Cleveland if Deshaun Watson's on that fucking roster.
Well, yeah, but it should listen. I think 3 of those teams are definite wins. I think it's possible, depending on how New England and Pittsburgh are looking, they could take one of those 2. I think Chargers is just a loss.
Yeah, those are Chargers.
But I think Pittsburgh or New England, I think they go 1-1 in those 2, and then 3-0 against the punching bags. So they can come out of this 4-2, and then Browns are set. If they keep the 6 games, which it's very possible, because if the NFL tries to go more, it's going to go to court, and then it's possible Deshaun Watson just plays through it.
Yeah, we just got to shout out.
So it's just tough.
Cincy Ravens and...
it's going to be the one time you root for Baltimore, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals need to just beat up on the fucking Browns best we possibly can.
Yeah. And it's just a problem because if it is only 6 games, that team is completely stacked everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's like...
We'll have to see. The Browns find ways to lose games when they're supposed to win. So I don't believe in Jacoby Brissett in the slightest.
I don't believe in Jacoby Brissett. I believe in him enough with that roster to get past Carolina, New York, and Atlanta.
I believe in Nick Chubb, absolutely, and I believe in the Browns defense for sure. But man, it's just I don't know.
I know, but I just
want to be optimistic.
It just dawned on.
I'm usually a negative guy in the NFL, and I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say, you know what, the Jets fucking take one.
It just dawned on me though as I was looking at the schedule. I was like, damn, that's like a really manageable first 6.
It's not really that bad.
Like, other than the Chargers, it's the only one where I'm like, they definitely lose Chargers. Everything else is like,
I think that's why I'm 100% just like holding on to the fact that like, yeah, it's gonna get extended. I don't care. It's getting extended.
I hope it does because I think 8-12 is where it needs to land.
I needed to be 12 games and they go 6-4 or something like that.
Fair enough. But yeah, we had to get the Deshaun Watson thing out of the way.
Had to.
Staying in the football world, the Deebo Samuel, hold out, hold in is finally over. Signs a 3-year, $73.5 million deal, 58.1 guaranteed. Great. Welcome back to San Fran, Deebo. Weapons. Always need them. So now we got Deebo, Ayuk, Kittle, our running backs, Juszczyk, our line. I feel good about our offense. Now it's complete. So
yeah, last of the draft class to get broken off, right? Everyone got paid.
Think so.
Because
AJ Brown got paid after he got traded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those guys are taken care of now.
Yeah.
Because DK signed this week too.
Yep, you're right.
So yeah, that whole draft class is taken care of. Then the last thing in the NFL, the Dolphins have officially stepped in it.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the Dolphins are in huge trouble for tampering.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they have now had to forfeit, like, it's also integrity of the game violations is what I'm saying. But they're losing draft picks, a first round draft pick. Is it their 24?
Yeah, a third rounder.
2023 first rounder, and then a fourth rounder the next year, I think.
Okay.
And it's because of, like, allegedly, it's funny, we mentioned this the other day when we talked about Saints a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They tampered trying to get Sean Payton out of New Orleans and Tom Brady. They did this twice, though.
They did that with Brady while he was still a member of the Patriots.
Yeah, and a member of the Bucks. They tampered with Brady twice and Sean Payton.
3 different organizations.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck Miami.
Well, apparently, you know what else is funny? Apparently, Miami and Tampa have like joint practices coming up. That'll be a good time.
Oh wow, it's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, but I mean, the Dolphins. This all sort of started with the Flores allegations against them. It sort of got lost in the wave of everything else that happened this offseason, but it's coming home to roost.
Yeah,
Dolphins mess ups. Apparently, Stephen Ross is suspended as well. The owner of the Dolphins. Won't be allowed to do any any team stuff, any owner stuff, anything. Fair enough.
That makes sense, I guess. It's just a crazy story. I mean, when that story all dropped, we all just kind of were like, no one even thought about ramifications. I don't remember anybody talking about what are the ramifications of this. Like, what is it?
Oh, I saw people talking about it.
I didn't even think about it. I just thought everybody that in my circle was just, bro, this is fucking crazy. Like, it was just a crazy fucking story that Jackie Moon was almost a real.
Everyone I was keeping up with and looking at was talking basically like, if it's found guilty, like all this stuff, that they should have to force him to sell the Dolphins.
Damn.
Because
like there's a new owner every year we're trying to get to force to sell their team though.
Yeah, but that's a different type of deal. If he's like. It's almost like the Calvin Ridley thing with the betting, where if he was willing to pay his coaches to tank, or if he was willing to tamper and all, it's like it breaches so many, like, what's the best word for it? I don't know, just like ethical, moral, and business rules. Like it's just a huge breach of everything.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it like because you think about it, it's like okay, there's an actual franchise out there. When the league's narrative is that all these teams are always trying.
Yeah.
There's a team out there paying their coaches $1 million to lose almost.
Yeah.
And they're partnering with gambling services. So
yeah.
you have sports betting
it's
out here
problem.
That's like, sports gambling out here promoting, bet on this, it's fair, and then the league is purposefully losing games.
Look, it's one thing if you realize you just have to blow it up and you're going to be bad for a year. Stuff like that happens. But to be paying somebody to tank,
that's completely different.
It's a different level of like, our roster's in trouble, our cap's in trouble, we got to blow it up, get everything, and then rebuild next year. That's like, that just happens in the flow of sports.
Yeah.
But this is a whole different type of animal. If he's guilty of all of it, and I've only heard about a few things, some of the tampering stuff and all that. If he's guilty of everything, he should sell the Dolphins. Because you can't have that as an owner.
Yeah. But apparently there's no proof specifically that he's actually paying people. So whether he either got away with it or he is not being they're basically keeping it under the rug because
they wouldn't keep it under the rug if they could catch him with it.
I wouldn't imagine, but I could also I don't know. It's just weird how different. Like I don't know. Very recently, the owners have been under the spotlight a lot more than they usually are.
And honestly, I think for the most part, that's sort of unwarranted. Where it's like
Dan Snyder.
Well, no, him. I said for the most part. But like for the most part, it's like these are all like similar type people. We all know what they are. Like most of the stuff you'd hear about them aren't shocking. But like, no, Dan Snyder, definitely a problem.
Snyder,
if Stephen Ross is guilty of all this stuff, definitely a problem.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if we're gonna roast Deshaun Watson, we have to bring up the fact that Robert Kraft might have done the same thing.
I think the context of that's different. Like that's a place that's known for it, apparently. Gotcha. So it's like that wasn't like this like borderline like assault. Listen, it's all bad.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. But I don't know. I think there are some owners that are way worse than others. Yep. Snyder, Stephen Ross, guys like that. I think there are other ones where it's like, okay, yeah, they're a little shady. They penny pinch. That's sort of the game to become a billionaire and own these teams, I guess. So I've never been all that shocked by a lot of it.
Sure.
But no, yes, there are some that are awful.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked if Snyder's forced to sell the Commanders or if Ross is forced to sell the Dolphins. I mean, the stuff they do is so far out of bounds. Like,
right. You get to buy the Commanders? No, you get to buy the Commanders.
No, I want the Dolphins.
No, Dolphins are off the table.
Damn you.
You get to buy the Commanders because Dan Snyder is way worse of an owner than Ross right now. First of all, what the fuck do you change their name to? Because you're not keeping the Commanders.
No, I'm not.
So first of all, what do you change the name to? And then second of all...
I'd have to think about that. What's the second one? Go for it. I was
going to say, do you change the colors or do you roll with the same colors?
They would all depend on the logo. I wouldn't be against changing the colors. I think that that color is sort of synonymous to that franchise, but it's synonymous to the old logo.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is if you are making this rebrand, you might as well
just go for it.
Go all in. Yeah.
I have no idea. I'd have to think about that one a lot more. Honestly, a lot of the names I saw I didn't really like. I kind of like the Red Tails after like the name of like the
like the World War II.
Yeah, the World War II. Yeah, that's the one. I kind of like that, but I don't know. I don't know why you need to stick with the name Red.
I thought Red Wolves was sick.
I wouldn't want to stick with Red.
Yeah, but that's the thing is
it's so limiting.
With Washington Redskins, I think I would have gone completely differently and gone DC Defenders. And then I would have done.
That's the name of another team, though.
Is it really?
Yeah, in another league. Shit. That's the name of that's the name of an already existing team.
Oh, no wonder I like it so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
I might go with DC something.
DC Sentinels.
Yeah, but right now we got the Washington Commies, which is it's apt.
That's bad.
It's like so that bad. As soon as that got announced, that nickname started coming out, and it was like nobody thought of that.
It's like really
none of you guys caught that one coming.
Yeah, exactly. Like not one of you brought it home to your teenage son and said, "Yeah, we're thinking about
check out the name
Commanders." And your kid just goes, "What the commies?" Immediately, and you go and you're like, "Guys, it's over.
You can't.
We're done."
I have no idea. I'll think about that and see if I can come up with one. But trust me, I'd rebrand the hell out of that thing.
They probably should have just bought DC Defenders and taken it because that.
I think it sounds real like Bush League.
No, I don't care.
Like, I think that a lot of the NFL teams have names that are like loosely synonymous to something, like with their city or their area, and
Defenders kind of make sense though.
Kind of, but it's also it sounds like a high school team.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like if you just sort of look around at like the teams.
Well, any name you come up with is going to sound by default a little bit more modern and less NFL because NFL is all traditional. It's very
yeah,
traditional.
I guess, but like I don't know
because honestly, Broncos, Steelers. 49ers. Just reading off the flags really. And the Patriots, the Cowboys.
I mean,
like it's very simple stuff.
That's super niche to the Bay Area.
No, that completely makes sense. I'm not saying I'm saying this just like.
No, I get it.
Old school logo, old school name, just like
I know,
it works so well with the team.
That's the problem. I've almost every new team that I ever hear, I'm like, God, that name and that logo sucks.
It's
never good.
Like Seattle Kraken. I want to like.
Honestly,
I
want to like it because I like the animal, the Kraken.
It sounds cool. No, I genuinely am like, damn, that's actually kind of cool. Sick. Yeah, it's Seattle.
I would
Kraken.
love to just move one of these teams to Hawaii and like call them like. I don't know. You can call them like the Islanders or something. Even I think that's a hockey team, yeah. Well, yeah. But I think that, I don't know, something like.
See, that's gonna be racist though.
I guess so, but like I don't know. I don't think there's any. I don't know. I'm more interested in expansion teams than rebranding teams.
Yeah.
And especially that one, it's like that one's gonna be met with so much like ridicule no matter what because of how bad they've already botched it.
And that's the worst part is that like this could have been like you could have brought people who have been laughing at the Redskins since RG3 being mishandled the way he was.
Yeah.
Like, from when I was in high school, I've known the Redskins have been terrible. And so you have this awesome opportunity to really turn around your image with some of these people who have just known the Redskins these past couple of years as a, complete shade of what it once was. Why would you not want to you're going to have, it's technically going to be modernized.
I think they should, I think they should have dropped the colors. They should have just completely rebranded it. I don't know. Whatever the answer is, they went so far the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but who knows? So what do you have in breaking news?
So the MLB trade deadline was ended literally today. So we have a bunch of news about a bunch of different guys who are on different teams, and the biggest name of all of that is obviously Juan Soto. Going from the Washington Nationals, getting traded to the San Diego Padres. The Padres went out and got a guy to push their payroll over $1 billion.
You're going to a better city, though, buddy.
He's going to a better city. I'll give him that. Just, beyond that, the Padres made a bunch of moves, including getting Josh Bell in that move as well to miss out on a wild card spot. So it'll be definitely interesting to see, what Juan Soto does over there. I imagine they're going to try and lock him down to a massive deal very soon, and have him be one of the face of their franchises for a long time to match Mookie Betts over in LA. But we will see. He might just be a 2.5-year rental.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit Dodgers since we're already in the NL West. We traded for Joey Gallo out over from New York, the Yankees. He had a monster season last year where he was just belting home runs and massive power hitter. Led the league in strikeouts, so he's very much the swing for the fences type of guy. This season it just has not been working out for him over in New York, so that he gets a chance to hopefully clean up a little bit in a new town, get away from the Yankees fans who apparently are horrible, terrible people who he hated walking around New York because he didn't want to run into fans, which is hard to hear actually. Happy to have you in LA, my man. You're gonna look great in that Dodger blue, and I'm excited to see you get back to your winning ways with a good team. Moving on, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Phillies because the Phillies made a couple of moves that are definitely interesting as they make for a little bit of a push. They talked to the Angels and brought in Noah Syndergaard, right-handed pitcher from over there. He comes from the Brewers, signed with the Angels, was going to be part of their whole pitching redo that they do for their entire bullpen, and it just has not worked out. It is literally Shohei, and that's about it. I can't name another pitcher over there, to be completely honest with you. It's been that bad. So, hey, shout out to the Angels for knowing exactly what they need to do at the trade deadline, and that's to move on, except for when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, because they have decided that they're going to keep him and let him walk in free agency for nothing, apparently. So, Interesting move by them. They must be confident that they're going to bring him back, but I would be completely shocked if Shohei Ohtani stayed there. Yeah. So I have no idea what that move was, but Cardinals just made a move with the Yankees. The Yankees are getting Harrison Bader from the Cardinals for their left-handed pitcher Jordan Montgomery.
Okay.
So it's very interesting to see what the Yankees were doing because they sold some pieces. It was like they were trimming the fat. Mm-hmm. They were getting rid of guys who weren't fully working with the roster that is just slugging right now, kind of bringing in more pieces to complement that. Got to give it to them. It's the right way to go. As opposed to the Dodgers, which I think the Dodgers, normally a big team that makes a big move in the middle of the trade deadline. I'm thinking about last year was Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, getting them from the Nationals to help us run on our way in the playoffs. What's interesting about this one is, both the teams that are in the top of their conferences right now, or their, AL and the NL, one team just kind of trimmed the fat and brought in pieces to complement. The other one kind of did the same thing, but less moves. We bring in Joey Gallo, excuse me, which is awesome, which is fantastic. If it all works out, obviously, it's a big if because he's got to get back to his crushing baseball ways, and that's a lot to ask for sometimes. But I think the Dodgers knew, Soto, maybe not what we needed. Like, it would have been an awesome move, and making sure that he's a Dodger for a good long time would have been awesome. But I think we are pretty much set with the team that we have, with Mookie, Trey, and Freddie leading it off. Getting Chris Taylor back from injury soon. Jordan Turner just came back. We're expecting to get Blake Treinen back and Dustin May. So a lot of our guys who we've already been crushing without, we're now getting reinforcements, we're calling it.
There you go.
So yeah, it's definitely what I would say is Dodgers shouldn't really be worried about Soto going over the Padres. It kind of reeks to me of the Padres of a notice me move. They're about to have 3 guys on their roster, and Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, and now Juan Soto. If they retain him for a massive contract, they'll have $1 billion over. They'll have $1 billion with 3 players on their salary cap. They have traded their entire farm system for a couple of their key pieces that are hoping help them get to further than a wild card this year. And for me, I can take a lot of comfort as a Dodgers fan knowing, holy shit, we didn't even have to make a move, and I still think we got a lot better. And if this is just a buy low move where we can just bring in Joey Gallo and he can get back to his ways of just smashing 25, 28 home runs a season, then, fantastic. That'd be a good move for us, adds to our batting rotation. We just got to find a spot to put him in the lineup because we're about to get Chris Taylor back, who already plays that left field spot. We got Trace Thompson out there already, who is Splash brother, Klay Thompson's brother out there. He's actually having he's playing well, so he's been fun to watch too. So we are gonna have to see where exactly he fits in, but hopefully he fits in and starts hammering balls and and can get some revenge in the World Series against Yankees fans.
There you go.
But finally. The Twins just acquired Tyler Mahalo from the Reds. The Reds, I actually want to shout out again. I've shouted them out a few times that they've been interesting to watch on some weird runs. 3rd in the division all of a sudden in the NL Central. Don't think it's really going to go anywhere because they just sold like crazy at the trade deadline. A lot of their guys, Luis Castillo's already gone. I believe, and another one of their pitchers, Tyler Mahale, goes to the Twins in Minnesota, help them lock down that AL Central, I believe. But a couple of great moves for everyone. Like I said, the Phillies brought in a pitcher in Syndergaard, and they also brought in another pitcher in David Robertson from the Cubs. So they just securing their bullpen as much as they possibly can. Doing well from what I'm seeing out there, playing good ball, and especially with Bryce Harper not playing right now, it's, a lot of people were kind of like, where do the Phillies go without Bryce Harper right now? And so far, I think they're making the right moves to retain their dominance in that division. Lastly, they also got they got Brandon Marsh from the Angels, so they brought in another outfielder, which is going to help with that whole situation they have with Bryce Harper missing him on injury. So keep an eye on the Phillies. They seem to be making the right moves that they need to stay competitive post-injury, and I think it's still a lot of teams got better. A lot of teams, the teams at the top seem to do exactly what they needed to do to remain at the top, and a lot of teams are making some big moves to try and take some hacks at the Giants. So, and not the San Francisco Giants, but the Giants of the NL and the AL. So, Astros made a few moves. We'll have to see if they pay off, and here's to the second half of baseball really starting to kick in now. Got some October ball coming after. It's going to be a while for October. I'm just really excited to get into fall. But, we got the rest of August and September to really, enjoy some awesome baseball, and then it's really going to, we'll see what these new lineups can do.
Sweet. Any other news from you?
That is going to do it for me.
Okay. So with that, we are going to move on to our AFC South all-time rosters.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Which one are we starting with?
I don't particularly care. Let's start off with the Texans.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go Houston first.
This is good words.
Okay. Who you got at head coach?
I went with Gary Kubiak.
Okay.
Actually.
I really, really wanted to.
I love Kub.
No, me too. I went with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I could.
I only have one reason for that. So let me explain real quick. So he's the only coach in Texans history with a winning record, delivered the most division titles and playoff appearances of any head coach. But I did note on here he will be kept very far away from the GM's office.
I don't care.
It's like I thought about not caring, but I was like, it's one season. The off season part of it is over. He just has to coach the team. And when he was just coaching, the Texans had the most success of any coach. So that's that.
He also choked the most I've ever seen any team ever do. Like that playoff blow up where they were up 21, 24 points.
Yeah.
I blame more on Bill O'Brien and his play calling than I blame Deshaun Watson.
No, I know. Trust me. This is not. I didn't even really want to do this. The problem is, no other coach in Texans history literally even has a winning record.
I fuck with Gary Kubiak, though.
I like him too, but
you gotta think about the guy.
They only won 2 divisions.
You gotta think of he did it with Matt Schaub, bro. Like he brought a Matt Schaub led team to the playoffs twice. That says leagues, and he won a Super Bowl this first year he came in with Denver. I know that doesn't count for this, but
that barely even counts for that because he just sort of walked into a ready-made team, and
he let him.
Whatever you say, dude. But
see, you gotta find a leader of men, dude.
Whatever you say. Like the only times that they won the AFC South were in the few years that the Colts were just rebuilding. Other than that, the Texans never even sniffed that division. So it's just
it's a different team.
Trust me, I have no interest in actually having Bill O'Brien. I also don't think Gary Kubiak's a great head coach either. I don't think the Texans have had a great head coach. That's why I just went with purely by the numbers. Coaching. Ugh. He can't be the GM.
It's not just a numbers
thing. It basically is when you don't have any good options.
I think Kubiak being a Super Bowl winning coach.
Not for the Texans, he's not.
Well, yeah, but I think that proves that, especially with the team he had taking them to playoffs, again with Matt Schaub, I don't know, man.
I'm not happy about Bill O'Brien, but you can have Gary Kubiak. I don't think either. It's not awesome either way.
I hate giving Bill O'Brien any credit.
Me neither, but
it's like, bro.
As a GM, he might have been the worst GM I've ever seen. But when he was just coaching the Texans, they had among their most successful years. So that's.
But their worst blow-ups is what I'm saying too. I don't know.
The Texans didn't have much success in terms of advancing in the playoffs or anything like that with Gary Kubiak either.
They never blew a 21-0 lead against the.
No, but they only ever beat, and I'm sorry to do this to you. The only team they ever beat was the Bengals.
Fucking Andy.
I'm just reminding you. Sorry, but that's the only team they were able to really get by.
It was a
and the Raiders without Derek Carr.
I was like, bro, if you give Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, we'll get onto the rest of this. I'm just saying, I'm not cool. I don't love it either way. I just felt
I think if you give Gary Kubiak a dream roster like this one, Bill O'Brien finds a way to ruin this dream roster. Gary Kubiak finds a way to win with this roster.
Okay.
That's why I go with Gary Kubiak.
All right, fair enough. Quarterback, who you got? I mean, it's pretty easy. There's only one great one, and it's Deshaun Watson. Sorry, everybody.
I really didn't want to because I was like, nah, fuck this guy.
You have to, though.
But yeah, he is really honestly
3 Pro Bowls, and he led the league in passing. Like, Matt Schaub had a few good years, but it wasn't Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson was just... He was doing crazy stuff before the injury, and, I mean, immediately did not miss a beat when he came back and everything. So it was just... I mean, he brings more to an offense than Matt Schaub really can.
Certainly. I still remember Matt Schaub's extraordinary run of, like, consecutive games with pick sixes. Yeah. Got up to, like, 4 or 5.
Man, he was really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was always a point in watching Matt Schaub play one of your teams, and Matt Schaub would be playing decently well. You're just like, why are we letting this guy fucking tear us up now? Yeah.
I know. But yeah, so we're going to Deshaun Watson. Controversy aside, easily the best quarterback to ever play for the Texans, was phenomenal in his time in Houston.
Until Davis Mills balls out.
Get it out of here. Running back, also an easy one. Arian Foster for me.
It's the same thing.
Yep. 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, second-team All-Pro, rushing yards leader, 2-time rushing touchdowns leader.
Yeah.
I mean, great running back in his prime.
If you had that guy on your fantasy team, you were living the dream. That guy would put up like 20 points a game.
Until injuries caught up to him, Arian Foster was one of the best backs in the league.
100%.
And another guy that was one of the best in the league, wide receiver. I don't know who you went 1 or 2 or anything, but for me, number 1 was really easily Andre Johnson.
I did Andre Johnson. He's a true number 1.
Yep. 7 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, second-team All-Pro, receiving yards leader, receiving touchdowns leader, surefire Hall of Famer. Like, Andre Johnson was one of the best receivers of his generation.
Yep.
He was right up there with guys like Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
Like, that is the, like, stratosphere he was operating in, so that's Big easy time. Number 1 for me.
Big time. Oh, yeah, and he was just dominant. He was one of those guys that when you look at the guys from this era, that when there's, first of all, there's so many now.
Yeah.
But, like, back in the day, there weren't.
By the way, that's what makes him more impressive to me than these other guys. Yeah. I think the reason why there's so many guys now is because the NFL is really easy to play offense.
Yeah.
And it's way easier to just come in and run routes and catch balls when they can't touch you and hit you.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson did it when they could touch you and hit you.
He was a monster.
I value him and his accomplishments much more than I value anybody who did most of their work post like 2015.
Yeah, I agree. No, he's by no means was he a diva. He was a get in your face and shut you up kind of guy. And dead ass, I mean, he was that guy. He would literally beat the shit out of Cortland Finnegan, no problem.
Yep.
And it was impressive as hell. I remember, like, it's still crazy.
It's one of the greatest fights I've seen.
One of the greatest fights, bro. Andre Johnson just bodied
Andre Johnson does not fear you.
No.
Wide receiver 2, I thought this was also pretty easy. This is where Nuke Hopkins comes in.
I put DeAndre Hopkins, too.
Yep, 4 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, second-team All-Pro, 1 touchdown leader. He's not Andre Johnson, but he has incredible hands. And sort of had a Larry Fitzgerald thing going where he was playing with a bunch of really bad quarterbacks and just making really crazy catches. So did Andre Johnson for a lot of his career.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Hopkins is a definite number 2 here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he really did. Like, the reason why I strictly don't have Bill O'Brien here is because of some of the shit that he did with the GM, which proves that he just doesn't know football to me, which is why I don't want him as a coach. And this is 100% one of the reasons why, is because it's just like, dude, you are an idiot. Like, first of all, if you want to trade your wide receiver, you be my guest. Because any team in the league is happy to pay a first-round pick for a proven wide receiver, and they'll pay him.
Yep.
You won't. So I am totally okay with you pulling the Titans and trading A.J. Brown because you just don't want to bother paying a guy.
Yep.
I'm totally fine with you shipping out DeAndre Hopkins because you don't agree with the guy who's bothering the fuck out of you, Bill O'Brien. You hate the guy, whatever. To not get a first-round pick because you got a running back in David Johnson when you didn't have a fucking O-line, like, I have never seen a finesserie so fucking disrespectful.
Well, what's even more funny is the Cardinals are not known for their, like, confidence in doing this stuff. I mean, it just...
The Cardinals got that... You know what that tells me? Is the Cardinals got that phone call from Bill O'Brien. He came up with the trade offer, and they were like, fuck yes.
Listen, I don't really care how he left Houston. He was good while he was in Houston. He just wasn't Andre Johnson. So he's number 2.
He's number 2, but I mean, he was a hell of a wide receiver.
I don't think, by the way, I want this noted. There is no world in which I would ever have him passing Andre Johnson.
Yeah. I think I prefer Andre Johnson.
Just like a lot of people, because I know some people are like, well, if he stayed in Houston longer. No, I don't think. To me, he would never pass Andre Johnson,
even if he'd stayed in Houston the whole time. I think Andre Johnson was just a different animal.
Yep. And then number 3, I got Brandon Cooks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because 2 years in Houston, 2,000-yard receivers, and has been a number 1 weapon on a team with no other weapons and still produced. Yeah. So that I got the Texans fielding 3,000-yard receivers.
Okay, I went with Kevin Walter. Same thing, basically. He was just Andre Johnson's other man. Was able to capitalize with Andre Johnson being who Andre Johnson was and was just a productive security possession guy. Something like 800 receiving yards, like 70-something catches, and 8 touchdowns. Like, I honestly, Wes Welker kind of type of guy. I like in my slot position. Did it for a long time with Andre Johnson, so he's kind of already got that chemistry of how to get open when Andre Johnson's already taking people away, and just being a good security possession guy when Andre Johnson's double teamed. So, went with a guy who did it for a while with a guy who already is on this list.
I picked 3 number 1s.
I think
that was a big part of mine. As I was like, they got 3 guys who've been number 1s at different times for them and produced. So that was the big difference for me.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about Brandon Cooks, to be completely honest. But at the same time, like, I'd put Brandon Cooks at maybe 4.
All right, tight end. I got Owen Daniels.
Yeah,
2-time Pro Bowler.
I have Owen
not
Daniels
a particularly prolific tight end, but an effective one.
385 catches, 29 touchdowns, 4,617 yards. He wasn't Travis Kelce. He wasn't super fast or athletic, but he was just a big guy who caught balls.
Yep.
I love this guy. Owen Daniels ended up winning a Super Bowl with Broncos in 2015. Big Kubiak fan, obviously, because that's what brought him over to Denver. He played for the Ravens with Kubiak while Kubiak was the offensive coordinator over there. I absolutely just love Owen Daniels. So when I got when we were getting the Texans, I was like, I don't care who's a better tight end, it's gonna be Owen Daniels on this list. But turns out Owen Daniels is that guy for them.
Yep, and I think that as the 4th, or you could argue 5th receiving option, Arian Foster could catch.
Yeah.
He's a perfectly good player for that type of role.
Yep.
On to the O-line, left tackle Dwayne Brown.
Yep.
4 Pro Bowls, a first team All-Pro, 2 second team All-Pros. Was very, very good in Houston before eventually going to Seattle. And best tackle so far in Texans history. There's a possibility that my right tackle could eventually take that with longevity.
Yeah.
But Dwayne Brown, as of right now, I got at left tackle.
Yeah, that's who I got too. Who's your right tackle? Since I think we might have the same.
Laramie Tunsil.
Same. Yeah. It literally is those 2 guys at the bookends, and when it's all said and done, if Laramie Tunsil just keeps doing what he's doing now,
he's already got 2 Pro Bowls in Houston.
Yeah, I mean he could rack up a lot, 4 more.
The biggest trouble is it's tough for anybody to see him play when he's on the Texans as they are right now.
He is locked down over there. Like, to be honest, Bill O'Brien, great trade move there, but it's just like, bro, I can't believe you botched all of it. You botched bringing in Laramie Tunsil by the whole 2nd round pick for fucking Hopkins.
Definitely. All right, who you got at guard? I got left guard. I got Wade Smith.
I went with Chester Pitts.
I've got him at my right. I got Wade Smith at left guard because of a Pro Bowl appearance, every game in 3 seasons, and solid throughout.
Yep.
And then Chester Pitts, every game in 9 seasons, just didn't have the Pro Bowl nod.
Yeah.
So didn't have the one peak year that Wade Smith did. So I put him on the blind side.
Yeah. I had I just had him because Iron Man, you could trust him to be there constantly. A big guy guarding for in this situation, just giving Arian Foster room to run or Watson time to make a play. So that's all we're really looking for.
Definitely. Center, I want Chris Myers.
That's who I went with.
Yep, 2 Pro Bowls also. So this line is 4 Pro Bowlers and then Iron Man. Yep. Not bad.
Yep.
Overall, this offense really isn't bad at all.
It's not. I don't think it stacks up with some of the legendary ones from a bygone era, but looking at it,
I don't really see much weakness other than guard, maybe. And it's that's if you're going to have a weakness. That's not a bad one to have.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's really not that bad. Much better than I thought. One of the more modern offenses we've seen.
I had this one in the back of my mind where I was like, they're going to be shockingly good because I can just recall different times of the Texans where it's they had a lot of really good players a few different times. They just don't right now. Onto the defensive side, the first player is really, really easy. J.J. Watt. 5 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pros, the second-team All-Pro, 3 Defensive Player of the Years, 2-time sack leader, 2010s All-Decade Team, Walter Payton Man of the Year. His peak might have been one of the highest peaks of any defender ever. Injuries eventually took their toll, but he's also the all-time sack leader on the Texans with 101, which is almost double the next closest man, who we will get to later.
Yeah, no, that one's easy. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Like, the Texans don't have a lot of Hall of Famers right now because their franchise is so young.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of dudes that were on this team that could be or will be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown, Tencel, J.J. Watt, for sure.
Yeah.
Potentially.
D-tackle, this is one of the weaker spots. I went Amobi Okoye.
Okay.
Was never a Pro Bowler, but was just a decent interior defender for a few years. Yeah. They don't have a ton of accolades at the D-tackle spot.
I got him as my D2.
Okay. I went with 3 D linemen and 4 backers.
See, they have an incredible group of linebackers, which is almost what made me do the same thing, but I went with 4 because I went with another defensive end, Mario Williams.
That's my other DN.
Yeah, so I went with J.J. Watt, Mario Williams. Then for my 2 D tackles, I went Sean Cody and Amobi Okoye.
Yeah, I went J.J. Watt, Amobi Okoye, Mario Williams. 2 Pro Bowls for Mario Williams, the first-team All-Pro. He's 3rd all-time in sacks for the Texans.
Yeah.
Even just being there a few years. So he was effective in his time in Houston. Yep. So, yeah, that's my D-line.
Yep.
Linebacker, I got Jadeveon Clowney.
Yep.
So 3 Pro Bowls. I was 2nd-team All-Pro, 4th all-time in sacks for Houston.
Yep.
Who you got at your first outside backer spot or your first linebacker spot?
You and me both.
Clowney?
Clowney, yeah. But
cool.
my middle linebacker
I'm gonna
pushing.
Yeah. I was about to say, hold on. Let me hit my other outside backer so I just get my pass rush over with.
Sure.
My other outside backer is Whitney Merciless.
That's who I got.
2nd-team All-Pro. He's 2nd all-time in sacks for the Texans with 57.
Yep.
So I got it basically lined up so that I got Clowney, Watt, Okoye, Williams, and Merciless lined up on the line to rush.
Yeah, I got Cody, Williams, J.J. Watt, Okoye, Clowney, Merciless.
Who's off the ball then, Merciless or Clowney? Because one of them has to be off.
Take Clowney off.
Interesting. Yeah, and then I went 2 middle backers.
Take Merciless off.
I went 2 middle backers. We got the same.
You can mix that up.
We got the same. We probably the same 2 other linebackers, Cushing and D'Amico Ryans.
I don't have Ryans. I just got Cushing. So
okay.
I got the 3 linebackers.
Oh yeah. So Cushing, only 1 Pro Bowl, a 2nd-team All-Pro, Texans all-time leader in tackles. Really good linebacker in Houston. We're gonna set aside any PED controversies, but he was a monster in the middle. I thought he was had a little more accolades, but at the same time, there was a lot of good linebackers in the NFL.
Yeah, fight on. Dude was a man.
Very good. And then D'Amico Ryans is my other one. 2 Pro Bowls, a first-team All-Pro. He was the Texans' first real pillar player at linebacker.
Yeah.
And he proved to be a spectacular player depending on the year, and at the very worst was a very solid to good player.
Yeah.
He paired with Cushing, they make a really formidable duo in the middle, especially behind that front. So I feel pretty good about their linebacker core too.
Yeah, no, like I said, going through that list, I was like, dude, there's so many guys I have to leave off this list. They have done a good job with their linebackers. Yeah.
Corner, I think number 1 is we probably the same guy. I got Jonathan Joseph, number 1. Yep. 2 Pro Bowls, 2nd-team All-Pro. He's the Texans' all-time leader in interceptions.
Yep.
That makes it a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, not difficult with that one.
Who's your second one?
I went with Aaron Glenn.
Really?
Yeah, I gave it to Aaron Glenn.
Okay.
I liked his consistency and everything that he had. Lasted for a couple of years. I think he's like 3rd or 4th in picks or something like that, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
Maybe. He's not. I don't have him on here, so I don't even look him up.
He's a little bit off. But, he ended up getting replaced near the end by, I think, who you have on your second. But
Probably.
But, I liked his consistency. I liked the idea of, I was like, honestly, I just need a guy who I can trust out there day in, day out, do his job, and our pass rush is as strong as it is.
My second corner is Kareem Jackson. Okay. He finished his career in Houston as their 2nd all-time interception leader.
Okay.
Might as well have been tied. He literally had 1 less than Jonathan Joseph.
See, I put him in at safety.
So he never played safety for the Texans.
You changed safety when he left.
Yep, never played safety in Houston.
Oh, whoops.
Well, that's why I thought about that. Yeah, but he never played safety in Houston. He played it in Denver. Never got the same accolades, but was a really good, solid corner for 9 seasons in Houston, so he gets my second corner spot.
Well, I think I gotta give second spot to him too as well, because I have him on my list, but yeah, I put him in as my strong safety.
Yeah. From what I could see, he never played safety. I tried to find like the exact point.
Yeah,
but
that must have been only in Denver then, and I must have just assumed he was safety the whole time. But yeah, so I shout out Kareem Jackson, put him in. I have him as my strong safety since clearly he can play safety. And,
yes, he can. Well, safety's another weak position for the Texans.
And safety honestly is a tough one, so I'll keep him at my safety just because he can do it.
Sounds good.
My other safety is Glover Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have 2 different safeties. I only didn't go with Glover Quinn because his only peak year was with the Lions.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't go with him.
Yeah.
Granted, my 2 safeties didn't have elite years either. But my free safety is Andre Howell, played in Houston for 5 years, had at least 2 interceptions in all but one of them.
Yep.
Solid free safety. And then I went the other one. I went with Justin Reed.
Sure.
Was never a Pro Bowl player, but was solid safety and played well on bad teams.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that everybody says Kansas City signing him was a very smart choice. Yeah. So I got him at my other safety spot. Not the strongest position for the Texans, but I think we patched it up decently.
I think it's good enough as it is, and the pass rush is good enough that the secondary just needs to be decent.
Yep. All right, kicker, who you got?
Chris Brown.
Me too.
Is our just leader in Houston for their field goals made, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe all-time leading, the Texans' all-time leading scorer.
Yep.
I think we're probably the same punter too. I got Leckler.
Yep.
Yeah. Longest average punt and inside the 20 punt percentages. Real easy. Might be the best punter ever. Has been talked about in that type of light. So when you spend a large majority, not even a majority, but a good portion of your career with one team, and that's your status.
Yeah, I think you deserve it. Yeah.
Then kick return, punt return. I have a familiar name, Jacoby Jones.
God, I hate that guy.
Yeah. Longest return average, mostly return punts in Houston, but we've seen his prowess as a kick returner.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt that was good in Houston too. But yeah, he started off there before going to Baltimore and was already showing potential as a returner.
Yeah, it worked out apparently.
Yep. All right, so that is the Texans roster, and we'll get back to reviewing all these at the end and stack them up. Where do you want to jump to next?
I have Jaguars next.
You want to go Jags next?
Might as well.
All right, let's go Jags. All right. Head coach, I really only thought there was one option here, and that's Tom Coughlin.
That's who I went with.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Only coach in Jags history with a winning record again. Coached them during their best years in the late 90s, two division championships, 4 playoff appearances, 2 AFC championship appearances. That's the peak of the Jags franchise at this point, and it was all under one guy, so he gets it. Yeah, it's also the GM when they did their 2017 AFC championship run.
Yeah, they brought him back, and apparently he's just an old fart, and nobody liked him anymore.
Well, he's always been a hard ass. That was well known about him from his Giants days too. Yeah, he's from a different era. Which
very
is
much
fine.
So. Very much so.
Quarterback, I think we might have done the same thing, but it really doesn't feel good to do right now.
I feel bad for the kid.
You want to talk about going out on a limb here, because based on what you said, we did the same thing. I am doing a projection of all projections and putting Trevor Lawrence.
I put Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Allow me to justify myself. This is based purely on my faith of Trevor Lawrence rather than anything I've seen from him. And it's from a deep-rooted belief that everything that happened in Jacksonville last year was insurmountable, and you have to throw it out. However, I am going to give a mention of the person who everybody else would think would be here, and just give some reasoning here. So Mark Brunell is the person that most people will have in this spot. Truthfully, as of today, that's the person that probably should be in this spot. But I believe that his 3 Pro Bowls and 25,000 career passing yards as a Jaguar, I believe those are all marks that Trevor Lawrence can and will cross.
Yeah.
But I will fully admit I could look like an idiot on this in short order.
I'm willing to look like an idiot for this one.
Well, me too. I'm just saying that if he looks bad again next year, we're gonna look really dumb.
I don't even know if I can blame him next year. Again,
he can't look as bad as he did.
No shit, but I mean, as long as he looks a little bit better, or as long as he looks very clearly clearly he's hitting throws. If there's a massive amount of film that is wide receiver drops or more of that bullshit, 2 guys running into each other, not able to run their routes and bumping off each other and taking themselves out of the play.
It was a symphony of bullshit.
It is completely terrible. So when people say, "Oh, if he looks as bad as he did," then yes, he is the problem.
Yep.
But there's no way he looks as bad as he does because we've just watched the kid for 3 years in college football not be that fucking guy.
No, I know. I believe in him, but I'm just admitting that as like conventional knowledge for like a today all-time roster of Jacksonville, it is a hell of a stretch to go
against over chips all in move.
Yeah.
110%. It's a chips all in move. I'm all in. I love Trevor Lawrence.
I'm rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him. I want Jacksonville to be a good team. They won't be, obviously, but I want them to get to being a good team eventually, is what I mean.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't like a lot of the moves that they made this offseason. I'm hearing Travis Etienne is looking fantastic, though, which, good to hear from him post-injuries, coming back.
Yeah.
Good to hear, especially since Robinson got hurt as well. You want both those running backs coming back healthy so you can help T-Law as much as you possibly can. But yeah, T-Law just needs to show that he very clearly is the guy. Yeah. If he's hit, you just need to hit Christian Kirk in the hands. You just need to be able to get the ball to the right people. I'm hearing Evan Ingram already sucks. Which is not a shock to me. I don't like any of the moves they made.
No.
Which pisses me off because I love T-Law.
Well, it pisses me off because they had like the most resources to give and they did nothing good
with it other than restructure the entire wide receiver market for Christian fucking Kirk.
Which is not great, Jacksonville.
Bro, they could have gotten Tyreek Hill.
Trent Baalke, this is why we got
Adams.
you out of San Fran, buddy. Thank God.
They could have gotten Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill. If you technically
I don't think either one of them would have gone.
No, but if you technically think about who's been available this offseason.
Yeah.
I don't think
AJ Brown
technically, but they're not going to trade in the division.
Yeah.
But
Deebo, DK, you could have reached out for a lot of guys.
Think of all the guys they could have brought in to support. I mean, even the Jets,
Amari Cooper.
The Jets tried to get Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Jaguars. How do you not have Amari Cooper on your roster right now? That is a joke to me. That should have been your first move.
Browns did a great deal.
The stats are all right there that Dak Prescott gets better when Amari Cooper's on the field with him.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you Christian Kirk, the guy who wasn't good enough for Kyler Murray, bro?
The number 3 dude on the Cardinals.
The number 3 dude on the Cardinals behind an AJ Green who's 90 years old, basically.
Yeah. No, it's not great. No, but let's get back to this instead of all that.
T-Law.
I hope Trevor Lawrence does well. I'm just admitting for the premise of the exercise and conventional thought.
It's a massive projection.
Most people would put Mark Brunell there, and we could not logically argue with you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, this is a hope thing. But okay, moving on to running back.
I went with 2.
Okay, I went with 1.
Okay.
I know who your second one is. But so my first one, I went MJD.
That's who I went to.
Okay, so Maurice Jones-Drew, 3 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, second-team All-Pro, led the league in rushing, Jacksonville icon, and this roster really wouldn't feel complete without him.
Yep.
The only reason I went with him over the guy who I'm sure you picked is MJD's peak was way higher.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll just shout out the dude that I think you did. I would assume the other guy's Fred Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll let you go on Fred Taylor.
So I went with 2 running backs because I don't trust this offense at all. I want to give T-Law any opportunity to do well, to be completely honest with you. So I went with MJD strictly because, obviously, stats you gave and everything.
Yeah.
But also Fred Taylor being their franchise leader in rushing. The dude was a bust. I think it just... Having both of them there, I couldn't justifiably leave out Fred Taylor from this roster. Even though MJD.
You want to talk about struggling to leave off running backs? We'll get to that scenario with probably the next team.
Yeah, very much. We will.
This is similar.
This is a good taste of that stress that I already went through.
That other one made me look in the mirror and question myself a little bit.
I had to wonder truly what I value in a running back after this. But, so I went with MJD and Fred Taylor because I think MJD, while explosive and offers a higher peak, I want Fred Taylor there to be the, workhorse back who can just pound the rock for us. And this team is going to be very much focused on T-Law playing smart, giving it to the ball to his 2 wide receivers who I like. I got my tight end based on blocking specifically. Like,
well, there's also only one tight end in the history of this team,
to be honest.
Yep.
But yeah, I think this is very much going to be a run-focused team and see if we can't steal some wins.
Fair enough. Wide receiver 1. Yeah, I mean, I just got Fred Taylor as an honorable mention because he was really good here.
Yeah.
But I felt that there were 3 receivers that were good enough to be on this list for the Jags, and I wanted to give Trevor Lawrence more weapons if his tight end is more a blocker.
Fair.
So that's part of my logic. So wide receiver 1 is easy for Jacksonville. Jimmy Smith.
Yep. 5
Pro Bowls, 2-time second team All-Pro. Led the league in receptions with 116 and 99. He is the Lightning in the receiving duo of Thunder and Lightning.
Yep.
He's the Jags' all-time leading receiver, almost doubling anyone else.
Yep.
7 of the 10 best receiving single seasons in Jacksonville ever also. So this is the clear number 1 receiver for the Jags.
Big time. That's what I got.
Okay.
Yeah, too easy.
Number 2, I got Thunder from that Thunder and Lightning duo, and that's Keenan McCardle.
That's what I got.
Another Pro Bowler, contributing 4,000-yard seasons for the Jags.
Yep.
So I got that. And then you went with only 2 receivers. I went with a third, and I went with Allen Robinson.
Yep, I was going to say.
Another Pro Bowler. He was only in Jacksonville for a short time to start his career, but his 2015 season alone puts him on this list where he had 80 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 14 touchdowns.
Imagine if he didn't sign with the Bears.
Imagine if he just signed anywhere else.
Nah, it's so funny that he left the Jags. He's like, fuck this is awful.
Yeah,
and then he goes to the Bears, and it's even worse. And now, shout out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason his only Pro Bowl in his career came in Jacksonville in that 1 year. But yeah, that 1 year, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, that gets him on here for me. Because again, I think that with our tight end being mostly a blocker, I wanted to give Trevor Lawrence as many 1,000-yard weapons as possible.
That's fair. And Allen Robinson by no means slacks in that department. Dude's a stud. I'm already hearing from training camp that he's balling over for the Rams, and they're shocked at how good he is.
Well, let's hope not.
True. But yeah, I would not be surprised to see Allen Robinson be a household name after this year.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's going to be a weird one. We'll see. I think he'll definitely be better than he was last year in Chicago. There's no way that can go any worse.
If he isn't, he is the problem.
If he isn't, he's just older. At this point, he's been in the league almost 10 years. All right, so tight end, Mercedes Lewis.
Really?
He's the only tight end that did anything.
I went Kyle Brady.
Oh, my God. So Mercedes, well, we both have blocking tight ends. Yeah. But I went Mercedes Lewis because he's a Pro Bowler. He was a second-team All-Pro. He's third all-time in Jags history in receiving yards, even though his highest single total was 700 yards, but he spent 12 years there. Yeah. Tight end for by far the longest tenured tight end there, most prolific one. That's who gets it.
I think that's a good choice for sure. He offered a little bit more passing variety to the offense. To me, it was strictly just like, dude, not once did Mercedes Lewis ever make me fear for my life watching a game.
Who you said Sean Brady?
I went with Kyle Brady. I went with a guy who was a proven blocker from a run from.
So that guy
MJD's
puts fear in your heart.
No, but I'm not asking him to put fear in my heart. I'm asking him to block with a great line that he already did for.
Mercedes Lewis was a really good blocker.
Yeah, but I went with a guy I liked a little more.
All right, fair enough.
I went with a personal pick. I felt bad for Kyle Brady when he got drafted and got booed.
All right, fair enough. Well, there you go, Kyle. I mean, technically, I kind of booed you, but that's
whatever.
That's all right.
Yeah, you have a fan, Kyle. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
All right, left tackle. Much like the Bengals here, our only Hall of Famer on the Jags is that left tackle.
Yep.
Tony Baselli.
Yep. 5
Pro Bowls, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 90s All-Decade Team, Hall of Famer. He was a rock on the Jags for 7 years before an injury took him out. Jags only Hall of Famer. He was actually about to leave Jacksonville anyway because he was taken by Houston in an expansion draft, but he never played for them.
Wow.
But Jags only Hall of Famer. So easy choice.
Easy pick. Put him at my left side, my blind side guy for T-Lob. Set and forget.
All right. The rest of this line was a little tough to put together. I got left guard. I went Vince Manway. Only guard in Jags history to start over 100 games for them.
Yep.
So that's who I got at left guard.
Yep.
For
I went with Vince for my left guard as well.
Okay, who you got center?
For my center, I went Brad Meester.
Me too.
Yeah, all pro. He's got the Pro Bowl nod. Was there for MJD, so he knows what he's doing in that department. Easy peasy, just because lack of options.
Right guard, who you got?
Chris Nalloway.
Yep.
Nalloway.
Something like that.
Something like that. Sorry for butchering your name. Yeah, just another consistent Iron Man level guy.
Every game in 8 years for Jacksonville.
Exactly. And that's all I'm looking for here is just be a stud for T-Law and protect and let them run the ball.
Who you got a right tackle?
Leon
Searcy?
Searcy.
Me too. Okay.
Yes, so we have the same line.
Wow. Well, that's shocking. I thought for sure with like a patchwork line sort of that we would have differed somewhere.
No, I
think for us.
Yeah, we went with potentially the best O-line the Jags have ever had, and that is not saying much. Granted, if this was their O-line today,
it'd be an upgrade.
It'd be fantastic.
I thought about going Cam Robinson at right tackle, just because they keep franchise tagging him, so obviously they find him valuable and he's a newer player, but he hasn't shown it yet.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it.
You gotta show it enough to get paid before I start considering you all time.
Yeah. All right. Defensively, again, I went 4 backers, 3 linemen.
Okay.
So my first defensive lineman, I went Tony Brackens.
Yeah, that's who I went with.
Okay. Yeah. A Pro Bowl in Jacksonville, second team All-Pro, led the NFL in forced fumbles twice, and is the Jags' all-time leader in sacks with 55.
Sir.
I feel that is an attainable number by somebody else on this list.
Okay.
That I have coming up.
Okay.
D-tackle, I only went 1. I went John Henderson.
Okay.
2 Pro Bowls, second team All-Pro. He beats Marcus Stroud out for this spot for sack production and just longevity in Jacksonville.
Okay. I have both John Henderson and Marcus Stroud as my 2 D tackles.
So we had the same 2. I just picked 1.
Yeah, so I went with both, and I got both of them together. Yeah. I got Tony Brackens as my defensive end. Yep. As my other defensive end, I actually have Calais Campbell.
So do I.
Yeah.
Here, give some numbers on Marcus Stroud real quick, because I don't have any, because I didn't put him on here.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, fair
enough. Marcus Stroud is just a stud. He from what I read about the guy when I was doing all my research for everything, him and John Henderson together just kind of combined to be an absolute monster wall. John Henderson is the leader, as we said, leader in tackles for loss for the team and everything. And without Marcus Stroud being over there, he couldn't have done it. Marcus Stroud was also causing a shit ton of problems as well.
Definitely.
So, I wish I had put down some numbers for sure, but the reason why I typically don't put down numbers for a guy is because I think it just kind of speaks for himself, his kind of resume, and what he was able to accomplish in his time with Jacksonville is, I don't think there's another D tackle you put on here other than Henderson.
All right, and then Campbell, he'll probably show up on another team way down the line,
Yeah.
But Calais Campbell, 3 Pro Bowls in Jacksonville, a first team All-Pro, 2010's All-Decade team. Man of the Year, only in Jacksonville for 3 years, Pro Bowler in all 3.
Yeah.
2 seasons over 10 sacks, including a Jags single season record of 14.5.
Dude was
so in his time in Jacksonville, he might have been the best D lineman to play there, but he just wasn't there that long.
Yeah.
So moving on to my linebackers, my first one I got Josh Allen, a one-time Pro Bowler, but a young Jag who this year could get into the top 5 in Jags history for sacks.
Yep.
Rising talent who's been sort of hampered by the incompetence of the rest of this roster.
Yeah,
but he's shown the flashes.
Exactly.
I think this is somebody that could hit that 55 career sacks and become their all-time leading sack guy.
Big time.
So I insisted that I had him on this list.
I have him as my left outside linebacker. I think it's a little bit of a projection, but I don't think it's a far off one.
Okay. My other outside backer, I got Kevin Hardy, who was a Pro Bowler, a first team All-Pro. His best year coincided with the best year in this team's history, which was a 14-2 AFC Championship appearance year. So this guy peaked when the Jags peaked.
Good time to do it.
Good outside backer there. Middle linebacker. These guys are 2 more modern type dudes. My first one's Paul Posluszny.
Love that
guy. So he's a Pro Bowler, Jags all-time leading tackler, best linebacker in their history, one of the only modern players to sort of play above and elevate the talent that was around him. Unfortunately, he was a good linebacker, sort of marred by bad teams.
Yeah, no, he was a bright spot on those teams for sure. Fan favorite guy. I remember I was rooting for this guy, not even being a Jags fan. Just a good player to root for, fun to watch, hard hitter guy. Record for all-time tackles. Yep. So, dude is just. There's no other leader of that linebacker core. There's no other Mike I want than Paul Posluszny.
Yep. My other off-ball backer is probably your other backer also. I got Telvin Smith.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went Telvin Smith, second team All-Pro, athletic backer that emerged in the Jags AFC Championship run, retired early due to some personal problems, but had the potential to become a really special linebacker. Sort of unconventional on the smaller side, but as an athlete, regardless of some of the personal things that have come out about him, as an athlete and as a linebacker, he was an ascending piece that just left the game early.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually ended up going with Daryl Smith.
Okay, that was my consideration for the other one.
Second in franchise in tackles, just, constant force off the edge and everything like that. I figured, just so easy, especially when you have Paul Posluszny and you've got Josh Allen on the other end. You just need him to be as solid as he was and make those tackles, and that's what he did. So that's who I ended up going with. And to be honest with you, Jaguars have some decent linebackers, actually.
Yeah, they got some decent backers. Corner one is Jalen Ramsey.
Same.
3 Pro Bowls in Jacksonville, 1 first-team All-Pro. He began his promising career there. If not for contracts breaking down, he'd probably still be there. And just quite simply, he's the best corner that's ever suited up in Jacksonville.
Yeah, easy peasy. It was that simple. I went with second one was Rashawn Mathis.
Yep,
just because
me too.
I went with Ramsey one and Rashawn Mathis on the second one, and there goes that's the best secondary I've ever seen already.
Yeah, he's got 1 Pro Bowl, 1 first-team All-Pro. Yeah. He has the most picks in Jags history, does Mathis, with 30.
Yep.
Quality player for many years, just wasn't the talent that Ramsey is. So he's corner 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, their corners aren't bad.
Terrible.
Free safety, I went with Reggie Nelson.
That's what I went with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of his career was in Cincinnati, but 3 years in Jacksonville, he made his impact and showed flashes of the ball hawking safety he later become. He had really solid pick numbers when he was in Jacksonville, and I think that alone gets him one of these spots. Safety's been a tough position for a few teams, and it is for Jacksonville as well. Yeah. So I went with somebody who just flashed the higher side.
I agree. For my strong safety, I went with Donovan Darius.
Me too.
Third all-time in tackles. Just an absolute stud. Kind of who you want in that run support position. Played
there for 9 years. Yep. I'm probably the longest tenured player at that position. I couldn't find anybody that was there longer at safety. So I got him at strong safety as well.
Yeah.
Kicker, I thought this was pretty easy. Josh Scobie.
That's what I went with.
Most accurate kicker for the Jags, and also the longest tenured at that position.
Yep, 61 field goals made, 59 yards is the longest in the franchise, and leader in franchise points scored, something like that.
Punter, I went Brian Barker.
I went Brian Anger.
There we go. So I got 1 Pro Bowl, a first-team All-Pro. Best punt percentage within, to get inside the 20, and within 3 yards of the longest average distance. So I took the 20 thing mixed with him only being a few points off of average yards. I'm like, okay, that's who I'd pick.
Yeah, I went for a little bit more of a modern guy, and went for Brian Anger, and then also longest punt average or something like that was Brian. So 40 yards per attempt or something like that.
All right, kick returner and punt returner. I went Reggie Barlow.
Okay.
Best averages, and he led the NFL in punt return yards during one season in his career there.
Yeah, I couldn't even find one for the Jaguars that I like, so I'll go with that one.
Okay. There we go. All right. Colts or Titans? I'm leaning Titans.
You want to go Titans?
I would, but I don't care. You can go.
Let's go Titans.
All right, let's go Titans.
Cool. All right, I'm interested in the Titans one.
Okay, head coach. I went Vrabel.
I went Vrabel too.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna get an argument about that one.
No, hell no. Okay. Best winning percentage by any coach in the franchise with more than 1 year. Willie Lem won 100% of his games one season. There was 9 games, and that's the only year he was there. Yeah. So that to me that doesn't even count.
Sure.
So and Vrabel also won Coach of the Year in 2021. He makes the Titans competitive every single year, even though that roster is not always the most talented. Yep. And with this roster, he would work wonders because I think this roster is built just the way Vrabel would like it. It's hard nosed, it's rough, and its goal is to beat you up. So I think Vrabel fits, and I think plainly he's the best coach that is worn Titan blue.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people would maybe talk about Jeff Fisher.
I can't.
Fuck that guy. There's no chance I'd want him anywhere near a roster like this.
Listen, this is sort of the Bill O'Brien thing. The difference is Texans did not have a clear better option. The Titans do.
Yeah.
So
Titans very much have a better option.
Yeah, so I went Vrabel.
Vrabel has very quickly cemented himself as like the Titans guy.
Yeah, he's great for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Quarterback, I believe we'll have the same guy, unless you're sometimes the one to go off on like a weird one. But quarterback, I got Warren Moon.
I went Warren Moon too.
Thank God.
But there were. I looked at every single quarterback just to try and be that guy for you.
No, I can't. Yeah, no, it's Warren Moon, and it's Warren Moon by a mile.
Yeah.
6 Pro Bowls, 2nd team All-Pro, NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 1990, 2-time passing yard leader, a touchdown leader of the year, and NFL Man of the Year in 89. Yeah. Hall of Famer, completely deserving of it. Warren Moon's quarterback here.
You could make the argument Steve McNair. You really could, but I
don't even think you can.
You could, but I think you're still wrong.
Yeah.
And Warren Moon is the right answer.
Okay.
Yeah. You could
now
make,
if
you could make the wrong argument that Steve McNair because of its athleticism and what he did for them, very much could be considered. Yeah, maybe he is the guy, but when you look at, I think Warren Moon's numbers, even after Steve McNair came in, prove that
they speak for himself.
He is the guy. Yeah, he's the guy.
All right, now on to what was possibly my greatest dilemma thus far in doing any of these rosters. The Titans running back situation.
Yeah, it was tough.
Okay.
I want to know who you ended up going with.
We'll get there, but just so you guys know, there are 4 running backs that absolutely deserve these spots. Any of the 4 that get left off deserve one of these spots.
Yeah, you can.
And so I'm just going to read off the 4 right now, just so everybody knows who they are.
Sure.
Earl Campbell, Derrick Henry, Chris Johnson, Eddie George.
Yeah.
All 4 of them were monsters.
Yep.
This was I've switched so many times on this. I honestly hope that you picked the other 2 to me, but I'm not sure that you did.
There's no way I did.
So basically the way that I ended up sussing this out, I went with the 2 2,000-yard rushers.
Same.
Okay.
That's what I did.
So basically what that means, we went with Chris Johnson and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
This is not at all a slight on Earl Campbell or Eddie George.
No, it's so hard.
They are legitimately so Chris Johnson, I'll read off the stats for him real quick. So 3 Pro Bowls, a 1st team All-Pro, 1-time rushing yard leader, offensive player of the year, 2,000-yard rushing season, 5 other seasons with 1,000 yards, and known for his speed, obviously. Speed was the game, and he never lost that game.
No.
He held the record for years for the fastest 40 time ever recorded. Then the other one is obviously King Henry, Derrick Henry. 2 Pro Bowls, 1st team All-Pro, 2-time rushing yards and touchdowns leader, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 2,000-yard season as well. Also has 2 other seasons over 1,000 yards. Would have had a 3rd if he hadn't been hurt this year. He was already at 900 yards halfway through the year.
Yeah. No, he was tearing it up.
Yeah, but again, Eddie George and Earl Campbell were monsters. This really did come down to who, out of all of them, who had the peak years. They had 2 guys that rushed for 2,000 yards, so that's what it came down to.
Yeah, it's 4,000 yards in your backfield right there.
Thunder and Lightning also.
For 4,000 yards. That's crazy.
Thunder and Lightning for 4,000 yards. If you need a yard, you throw in Derrick Henry. If you need to break one, you give it to Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
And again, Earl Campbell could get you a yard, also really easy. Eddie George can get you any yards you need, also really easy. This just came down to the fact that you can have 4,000 yards in your backfield. So
yeah, it's proven over an entire we're looking at this for one season. If we're taking their best seasons, it's 4,000 yards in the backfield.
Yeah,
and that's so hard to say.
I looked myself in the mirror several times, particularly on Earl Campbell, because he's like a legend of the Oilers and Titans franchise.
And I don't think Derrick Henry is who he is today without a conversation with Eddie George.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like these are all 4 of these are dudes you can't tell the story of the Titans without. Unfortunately, there's not 4 running back spots out here. I almost put CJ2K at wide receiver for his speed to try to cheat, but I decided to stay honest. And so Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, those are the backs. Earl Campbell, Eddie George, I'm sorry. You 2 are worthy of these spots. This just might be the craziest backfield that we're going to run into, though.
Yeah, it is a damn shame we can't give it to all 4 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to, because wide receiver was a little tough.
It was tough.
Who'd you put at wide receiver 1?
I went with Ernest Givens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got him at 2.
Okay.
I got Charlie Hennigan at 1.
I have AJ Brown.
Because I thought about that, but Charlie Hennigan, 5-time AFL All-Star, 4-time All-AFL team, 2-time All-AFL receiving leader, AFL receptions leader, AFL all-time team, 2-time AFL champion. He's just the most prolific receiver that's ever played for the Oilers or the Titans. Not from this era necessarily, but in this era we would throw it even more.
Yeah.
So that's my only consideration, and we put AFL guys on all the other teams, so I'm not going to snub this guy for it.
Sure. I went with AJ Brown strictly because modern era football. We're playing with 2000 rules.
He was initially my number 2.
I genuinely, I think out of all these guys who just got paid from this last draft class, AJ Brown was always my favorite.
Really?
I loved what he brought.
I got him 4th.
I genuinely, I loved what he brought to the table. He very much is like that DK type of big, physical, and fast. Yeah. And I think that works well with what we're trying to do here. So
fair enough. Yeah. My second was Ernest Givens, 2 Pro Bowls, 2nd team All-Pro, and he's the Titans' all-time leading receiver. So it would have felt wrong to leave him off. I thought about AJ Brown, but these other dudes were just more accomplished.
Sure.
And I think that I think you just need some guys that are threats if you're going to run as much as we are. Don't get me wrong, AJ Brown's a threat, but I don't know. This was just a personal choice thing.
Yeah, no, it was really splitting hairs, to be honest with you.
Yeah. To me, I didn't think tight end was tough, though, so I'd be shocked if we have different people. I went Delaney Walker.
I went with Frank Wycheck.
Okay. Explain.
Okay, so he's a Ring of Honor guy, 3 Pro Bowls, 27 touchdowns. He's a guy from the Music City Miracle. I figured, you know what? I want the guy from the Music City Miracle. Very clearly a proven, decent tight end. No disrespect to Delaney Walker, because Delaney Walker has been killing it for the Titans since I started playing fantasy football when I was a sophomore in high school. And then, he didn't fall off until I was, in my sophomore year of college. So, it was...
Former 49er.
It was a long time of Delaney Walker being a consistent, great option at fantasy tight end.
I mean, Delaney Walker, also 3 Pro Bowls. He's one of the most consistent tight ends of the 2010s.
Yep.
He also is top 10 all-time in receiving yards for the Titans. He's 9th overall, including a season of over 1,000 yards receiving in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we've talked about a lot of power football, but we do have Warren Moon at quarterback, so I want my other 3 guys out there to be consistent weapons. So Delaney Walker's my tight end.
Yeah, I really did think about Delaney when I was putting Frank down, but I went with the guy. I was like, I want a Music City Miracle guy on my offense strictly for heart.
All right.
It's Tennessee, baby.
There you go. Left tackle. I went Taylor Lewan.
I went Bruce Matthews.
He's a guard.
What?
Yeah.
My list was wrong. What I was looking with was wrong. But yeah, if I got on the spot, put it together, then I would put Taylor Lewan offensive tackle, and then I would have to remove Bruce Matthews from that position, put him as my right guard.
Yeah.
But sorry, Bob Talamini.
Yeah, I mean he moved around on the line, so if you really want to
well, that's what I was saying.
If you really want to do,
he played all positions.
He played all positions, but he's in the Hall of Fame as a guard, and known for that. You can play whatever game you want. He was mostly a guard, but. Whatever.
He played all positions.
Okay.
You can really put him where.
Say whatever you want. All right, so I went Taylor Lewan, 3 Pro Bowls. My left guard is Bruce Matthews.
Okay.
14-time Pro Bowler there, 7-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro, 90s All-Decade team, NFL 100 team, and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That was a layup.
Easy peasy. That's why I put him at my blindside tackle position, because I thought since he played all positions, I figured I'd want him at the most important one, I feel like. For my left guard, I went with Mike Munchak. So 9 Pro Bowls, Hall of Fame.
That's my right guard.
Yeah, he very easy pick to have 2 Hall of Fame guys on your O-line like that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I just looked up the number of games he played at each position.
Okay.
You picked the position he played the least. That's okay.
But he played it.
I know. I just love that. 99 games left guard, 67 right guard, 87 center, 22 right tackle, 17 left tackle.
Yeah, so he's just a stud for 17 games. He's fresh.
Stud for 17 games. Fair enough. Yeah, but I got him at left guard.
17-game season.
All right, whatever you say. Yeah, so I got him left guard. I got right guard, Mike Munchak, 9 Pro Bowls, 2-time first team All-Pro, 6-time second team All-Pro, 80s All-Decade team, and another Hall of Famer. 2 Hall of Fame guards. Center, somebody that we saw for the Jets, but Kevin Mawe. 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All-Pro, 2000s All-Decade Team, and a Hall of Famer with the Titans.
Yes, sir.
Known for his time with the Jets also, but he contributed some elite years in Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
So I got my three interior guys are all Hall of Famers for that run game.
Yeah, you gotta love
it. And left tackle's a Pro Bowler. Right tackle I got Brad Hopkins, 2-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro. You could have also gone Roos there, but I went Hopkins.
Sure. Well, I have Hopkins at my right tackle, and to play the game fairly, I'll go ahead and put Bruce Matthews at my left guard and Mike Munchak at my right guard with Taylor Line my left tackle. But, yeah, absolutely. I think when you've got 3 interior O-line guys all rocking the gold jackets,
you feel good, especially when you're trying to be a nasty, mean team. You feel good.
Feels pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Smash mouth football right there, baby.
Exactly. All right, on to the defensive side of the ball for the Titans. D-end, okay. I got Jarrell Casey first.
Okay.
5 Pro Bowls and a second-team All-Pro to his name.
That's what I got as well.
All right, my other D-end, I got Elvin Bethea.
That's who I got.
8 Pro Bowls, second-team All-Pro, Hall of Famer.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, and I actually did do 4 linemen for the Titans. So my first D-tackle, I went Curly Culp.
Okay.
4 Pro Bowls, first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year, Hall of Famer.
I went with Ray Childress for my first D-tackle.
That's my second one.
Yeah, 5 Pro Bowls, led in sacks for 5 seasons straight. And
led the Titans in sacks, led the league in sacks.
Led the
it's got to be the Titans. The league would be a record.
No, led the Titans.
Okay, I was just saying.
Excuse me, led the Titans in sacks.
There you go. I just wanted to clarify.
For 5 seasons straight. No, I would have emphasized more of a point.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait a second, that can't be right. But
led the Titans in sacks 5 years straight.
Yeah, which is definitely impressive. Defensive force for sure.
Yep.
My other D tackle, Javon Curse, defensive rookie of the year, 99, 52 sacks, 227 tackles in 188 games for Tennessee.
Okay.
Yep.
On to the linebacker core. My first linebacker, my middle backer, Robert Brazil.
That's what I got. Yeah.
7 Pro Bowls, 2-time first team All-Pro, 4-time second team All-Pro, 70s All-Decade Team, Hall of Famer also.
Yes, sir. Easy peasy.
Who you got at your second backer?
Second backer, I got Keith Bullock.
Same.
Yeah, third in franchise tackles, 19 picks, 15 forced fumbles, 12 fumble recoveries.
There you go.
Yeah, just a stud.
My other backer, I got George Webster.
Webster.
3-time AFL All-Star, AFL All-Time Team.
I went with Greg Bingham.
Okay.
Leading tackler in the franchise, 21 picks. Just, good outside, right coverage, good for sacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for here.
There we go. All right. Cornerback 1, I got Chris Dishman.
That's what I went with.
Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, second all-time in interceptions for the Titans with 31.
Yep, same.
Cornerback 2, I want them to fight with the Texans, so I got Cortland Finnegan. A Pro Bowl and a first team All-Pro to his name.
Yeah.
Feisty, nasty. I think he fits what the Titans want to be. So I got him at my second corner spot.
I almost put him down, but I put Jason McCourty.
Really?
Yeah, I ended up putting Jason McCourty.
All right.
I was like, I think he obviously proved the type of player he was in New England. You give him Chris Dishman on one side here, Jason McCourty on the other. Like I think Cortland Finnegan played well for the time that he was there. I really trust Jason McCourty more.
Fair enough. I also I really want the attitude for the Titans. Fair. I think if you want to be a hard-nosed team, you need a hard-nosed corner, and that's what Cortland Finnegan was.
That's fair.
Free safety, Kevin Byard. I want a modern safety.
Okay.
2 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, interception co-leader with 8 in 2017, and he's still young.
Yeah.
He will develop even further into a great safety, and he's been basically ever since he's started peaking, he's just only gotten better. So I think by the time it's all said and done, he'll be the best safety he's ever played in Tennessee.
That's what I got. I like that guy a lot. With Ken Houston as my strong safety.
That's my strong also. I want to give a shout out to Jim Norton though.
Yep, that's why
because he could have had this spot. He is the Titans' all-time interception leader, 45. But Ken Houston, here's the reason why I went with him. Even though he split his time between Houston and Washington, between Tennessee and Washington. In his time with the Titans, 5 Pro Bowls, 5 second team All-Pros, 70s All-Decade Team, NFL 75 and 100 team, Hall of Famer, NFL record, or he shares the NFL record for the most interceptions returned for a touchdown in a season with 4. So you're talking about a Hall of Fame talent who played half his career in one place, half in another. That's enough to get him on this team.
Yeah, no, he's a stud. I have Jim Norton as an honorable mention myself, actually, just because I wanted to bring it up.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it sucks that sucks he can't be here, but yeah, it's definitely Ken Houston and Kevin Byard.
All right, who you got at kicker?
Oh, George Blanda, for fun.
Really? Yeah. He has an under 50%.
Don't care.
All right.
I'm rolling out a quarterback.
Oh my god.
To play kicker, basically.
Okay, well,
because I can.
I went with Rob Baronis, a Pro Bowler, first team All Pro, highest field goal percentage in the history of the Titans. I've thought about what like the guy you did. I can't put somebody out there that hits 48% of their field goals. Okay,
it's fair.
It's just like I can't do it.
It's fair. I think putting Brett Kern then fine.
That's who I got at my punter.
Yeah, if anything, have him kick the longer ones. He's probably fine.
I got Brett Kern at punter, 3 Pro Bowls, first team All Pro, second team All Pro, second highest net average, but the highest inside the 20 average, so I went him there.
Yeah, he's the man.
Kick returner, I went Billy White Shoes Johnson. 3 Pro Bowls, 3 first team All Pros, 70-80s All-Decade team as a return man, NFL 75 and 100 team as a return man.
White Shoes, baby.
That's who I got at returner.
You and me both.
Okay.
Yeah, classic one.
Last one. Indy. Yep. On to Indy. Head coach, Tony Dungy.
That's what I went with.
Okay. Super Bowl champ, 2000s All-Decade team, Hall of Famer. Best winning percentage in Colts history at .759, so he basically wins 76% of his games.
Yep.
Was the coach through most of Peyton Manning's prime years in Indy, and those two were a match made in heaven, so this was an easy choice for me.
Yeah, you can guess who I went with quarterback as well.
Yeah. We should shout out guys like Unitas, but this was Peyton Manning's spot. It always was.
It's the house Manning built.
Yeah. So quarterback is Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Now allow me to just, if you would, allow me to recite the accolades of Peyton Manning.
Sure.
11 Pro Bowls in Indy, 5-time first team All Pro, 3-time second team All Pro, Offensive Player of the Year, 4-time MVP, 2-time passing yards leader. I lost my place on there. 3-time touchdowns leader, a Super Bowl champion. All-time Super Bowl champion, 2000s All-Decade team, NFL 100 team, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Hall of Famer. Like he owns every Colts passing stat. It's Peyton Manning's spot.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've been to Lucas Oil Stadium. I got to see a preseason game there last year with some of my good friends. That place doesn't exist without Peyton Manning.
No. Now, running back was tough.
Yeah, I want to hear what you went with.
Okay. This could have been a few people. I narrowed it down to 2. I went with Jonathan Taylor.
Bro, same. Okay. I thought I was going to be the crazy
This really could have been Edgerrin James. But Jonathan Taylor, right at the start of his career, 1-time Pro Bowler, 1-time first team All-Pro. In the first two years of his career, he's on pace to surpass Edgerrin James, who was my next closest guy. His 2021 season in particular, 1,811 rushing yards, 18 rushing touchdowns, 5.3 yards per carry. His receiving stats put him over 2,000 all-purpose yards and 20 touchdowns. He's on pace to be the best back for the Colts.
Yeah.
And this makes him a worthy selection here. You could have gone Marshall Faulk also, but he just did not play as long in Indy. And I think Taylor will be there longer.
Yeah, they're going to want to lock that one down big time. I think the big reason why they love having Matt Ryan over there right now is that team is built to win with Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan doesn't have to be MVP Matt Ryan. That O-line is incredible. Jonathan Taylor can do what he does. I have had Jonathan Taylor on my fantasy team for 2 years. We have keepers in our league, so we lock down 2 guys a season to hold on to and build our teams kind of around that. So I've had Jonathan Taylor for 2 years now, and last year was just insane watching him rack up points for me. And
the question is,
he's a stud.
Would you rather, who do you think's better, him or Henry?
I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor.
For 1 year or going forward?
Going forward.
Okay.
I love Derrick Henry.
Because I was thinking that too. I think if you're just giving me next year, I'd probably rather have Derrick Henry.
Sure.
But I think going forward, Jonathan Taylor, he might be the best player at the least valuable position, but he's still the best player at it going forward. So wide receiver, again, we got 3. This is an offense built around passing where we got Peyton Manning, and there is no player that Peyton Manning ever had a better connection with than Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, he's my number 1 as well. Hall of Fame guy, 8 Pro Bowls, 3 first team All Pros. Just great connection with Manning the whole time. I mean, it was
he led the league in receiving twice, reception yards twice, or receiving yards twice, receptions twice.
Yeah.
Touchdowns co-leader, 2000s All-Decade team, NFL 100 team, Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, and he leads the Colts all time in receiving yards. My 3 receivers are all the top 3 Colts receivers in like yards in their history, and they go in that order basically. Number
Okay.
2 is Reggie Wayne.
That's what I got. Number 2.
6 Pro Bowls, 6 Pro Bowls, first team All Pro, 2-time second team All Pro, receiving yards leader once, Super Bowl champ, second all time in Colts receiving history. He might get into the Hall of Fame himself. Wouldn't be shocked by it. Marvin Harrison was a lock, but I think Reggie Wayne can find his way there for sure.
Reggie Wayne deserves consideration. Hopefully, getting him in there eventually.
Did you do 3 receivers?
I did 3 receivers.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
My third one was T.Y. Hilton.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
4 Pro Bowls. He led the league in receiving once. Third all time in receiving yards for the Colts. So it goes in that order. Harrison first, Wayne second, Hilton third.
That's what I got.
All right.
Crazy.
Tight end. I thought this was going to be tougher than it was, but John Mackey's my tight end.
That's what I went with.
5 Pro Bowls, 3-time first team All Pro, Super Bowl champ, 1-time NFL champ, so before the Super Bowl era.
Yep.
60s All-Decade team, NFL and 100 teams, Hall of Famer. This has to be considered as well. Even though he played in the 60s, he is still 8th all-time in Colts receiving history, and this is a franchise that has thrown the ball a lot between Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
So that is no small feat. Dallas Clark was briefly considered to appear on here, but John Mackey just has done more of everything.
Yeah, it was.
So that's the tight end.
It was Dallas Clark until it was John Mackey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. So moving on to the line. Left tackle, I got Jim Parker.
Okay.
8-time Pro Bowler, 9-time first team All Pro, 1-time second team All Pro, 50s All Decade team, NFL 75 and 100 team, 2-time NFL champion, Hall of Famer.
He was under a guard for me.
Really? I got him at tackle.
I have him as my right guard.
Right guard?
Hey, you know what? Whatever. He's on the O-line. We had the same thought process.
Fair enough. Left guard, I got Quentin Nelson.
Left guard, I have Quentin Nelson. Left tackle for me is Anthony Costanzo.
Really?
Yeah. Because, again, I was under the impression that Jim Parker was guard.
Well, I don't think I would have had Costanzo either way. But fair enough. Why do you have Costanzo?
A just consistent guy. Big presence on the line. I like having him next to Nelson over there. They were a good combo from when they were playing for a little bit. Just having him. It was basically because of the impression of Jim Parker being my guard. I was like, okay, I need a solid left tackle. Went with a guy who I felt like I can trust, and that was Anthony.
Fair enough. I just looked it up. He played. You could put him at either, really. He played at tackle for 5 years, guard at 3. Pro Bowler and all. Pro Bowler at both.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing him at tackle.
You throw him at tackle, I'll throw him in at guard.
All right, so yeah, Quentin Nelson, 4 Pro Bowls, 3-time first team All Pro, second team All Pro.
Yes, sir.
So keep in mind, he's only 4 years into his career and has those accolades. He's somebody that's going to be a Hall of Famer that's on this line.
Yeah.
I think center was pretty easy.
Jeff Saturday.
Yep. Another Pro Bowler and All Pro. And I'm not sure that he'll ever find his way into the Hall of Fame. He could, but he was definitely somebody who was at the top of his position while he was playing.
Yeah.
My right guard, I got Art Spinney.
Okay.
2 Pro Bowls, 3 All Pros, 2-time NFL champion.
Okay.
And then right tackle, I got Chris Hinton.
I got Tariq Glenn.
Okay, I went Hinton because 6 Pro Bowls, first team All Pro, 3-time second team All Pro.
Yeah, Tariq Glenn, another accomplished guy. Right tackle, just having him protect well with the rest of this line, give Jonathan Taylor a chance to run the ball.
Fair enough. So yeah, we got a pretty good line, honestly.
Yeah, either way.
Defense. I got 4 D linemen, 3 backers on this one. First DN, I got Dwight Freeney.
Okay, me too.
7 Pro Bowls, 3 first team All Pros, second team All Pro, sack leader once, 2000s All Decade team, Super Bowl champ. He's known for a devastating spin move, and he's second all time in sacks for the Colts with 107.5.
Dude's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unstoppable watching him play sometimes.
All right, D tackle. I got a modern one. First up, I got DeForest Buckner.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to become that guy there.
Yeah.
1 Pro Bowl, first team All Pro. Only been in Indy for second year. Second year was hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's already made a big impact in the middle of the Colts defense. I've seen him also for what he did in San Francisco and the type of player that he is. Dominant first year in Indy, hurt second year, but when he played, also dominant.
For sure.
So I got him at D tackle.
I'm as D tackle 2. D tackle 1 is going to be Art Donovan.
We had the same dudes, just flipped.
Yeah, flipped it around. Hall of Famer, 5 Pro Bowls, 4 All Pro first teams. Destructive force on the defense. Just put him with Dwight Freeney and put him with, Marcus Buckner. You just got yourself an unstoppable combo there.
All right, my other DN, I got Gino Marchetti. 11 Pro Bowls, 9-time first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, sack leader, 50s All-Decade team, NFL 50th, 75th, and 100th teams, 2-time champion, Hall of Famer.
He's on mine too. You can't stop his D-line. It's actually...
It's really tough, too.
Kind of incredible how good it is.
It'll be tough, too, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, linebacker. My middle linebacker, I got Darius Leonard.
Okay.
3 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, second-team All-Pro, 1-time forced fumble leader, and this is just within the first couple years of his career.
I have him as a right outside linebacker because for my middle linebacker, I have Dick Szymanski. Just a acclaimed guy from a little bit of an older time. But definitely, up there in the tackle list for Colts and everything like that. Just kind of a good middle linebacker, a good mic to have, give Darius Leonard a chance to kind of do what he does in rec game plans a little bit more often. With my left outside linebacker, I went with Robert Mathis.
Yep, that's the 5-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro once, 3-time forced fumbles leader, Colts all-time leading sack guy with 123. He also holds records for the most career forced fumbles with 54. And tied for the most forced fumbles in a season with 10. My other linebacker is Ted Hendricks.
Okay.
3-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, known for his years with another team as well, but his time in Indy was elite.
Clearly, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, they've had pretty solid defensive pieces that, especially when it comes to Robert Mathis.
I'm going to have Mathis and Marchetti and Freeney running stunts off each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
No, yeah. It is crazy how good this entire roster has already come out to be.
All right, so corner. Number 1, I got Bobby Boyd.
That's what I went with. 60s All-Decade team, 57 picks, first team All-Pro 3 times.
Yep. All-time pick leader for the Colts with 57.
Exactly.
Who's your other corner?
I went with Vontae Davis.
So did I.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have something different. All right, talk about Vontae Davis.
Vontae Davis, he was just consistent when he was there in his time for the Colts, constantly, being able to match up with whoever they had thrown his way.
All right.
Finally ends up moving on to the Bills to finish out his career.
Infamously retire at halftime.
Infamously retired at halftime. I had to bring it up, otherwise, that's part of the reason he's on this list is because he just fucking
just for that.
Yeah, because he's that much of a stud.
Safety, Vontae Davis is really good. Not as acclaimed. He's got like 2 Pro Bowls, but he was good. Safety is super interesting to me for the Colts. Mostly for one guy. This is one of the biggest what ifs in terms of like injury guys, and that's Bob Sanders.
Yep.
2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All-Pro, a defensive player of the year, a Super Bowl champ. He really was like he was arguably the best safety in the league in a year where Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu were both playing as well.
Yeah.
Like when he was healthy, that's the type of level he was playing at. The dude couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But Bob Sanders is like no slouch at safety. Sort of gets lost in like the shuffle of a bunch of dudes of like Brian Dawkins, Polamalu, Reed, whole bunch of guys like that.
Yep.
But Bob Sanders was an absolute monster when he played, and I got him at free safety. And I still remember a story that Matt Forte told about his rookie year in the league, and how his welcome to the NFL moment was he hit the hole running hard. Bob Sanders hit him, and like half his body went numb. Oh. And he was like, whoa. So that's what you got coming at you from the free safety spot. I'm giving Bob Sanders room to freaking run up and be a missile.
Yeah, that's what I got there too. I mean, it was very much just a bummer with the injuries and everything like that.
Yep.
Because freight train is basically what you call this guy.
Yeah. Smaller dude, about 5'9".
But hit like a freaking truck.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Strong safety, I think we might differ. I went Antoine Bethea.
I went Andy Nelson.
Okay, thank God we did go something different.
Finally.
So I went Bethea, 2-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champ. Also safety in the modern era. I value safeties in the modern era because I think older safeties, they were primarily tasked with run defense. Modern safeties are more accumulated or like acclimated to being a hybrid.
Sure.
And being able to cover and tackle. So oftentimes for me, if there's a modern option at safety that was very good, I'll lean that way.
Sure.
And that's how Bethea ended up on this list.
I thought about him. I wanted to pick him, but I went with Andy Nelson, All-Pro first team, 59, 32 picks. I mean, I figured if you're getting not only first team in 1959, but you're also able to rack up 32 picks, you kind of understand the whole ball hawking kind of mentality. So I went with a guy who, hopefully can let Bob Sanders be a little bit more of the run support guy, and this guy just make sure you watch over the top.
All right.
A few picks if you need it.
On to special teams. Kicker, Vinatieri.
Vinatieri, and then punter, McAfee.
Yeah.
Honestly, you
Pro Bowl,
got to put them together.
Yeah. Vinatieri, Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, Super Bowl champ with the Colts, Hall of Famer, 2000s All-Decade team.
Yep.
McAfee, two-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro. While an elite punter, he was also a great tackler and could throw the ball.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to be doing too much special shit on special teams in terms of punting, because I think this offense will score more than it won't.
Yeah.
But you have the option.
Yeah, it's good to have
And then kicker, I went Clarence Verdon. He was a two-time Pro Bowl returner. So
kick returner.
Yeah.
Okay.
For returner, yeah.
Okay.
But the Colts have an interesting special teams group.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very interesting group. Just because if you have to, you could be multi-layered.
Yeah.
So, that is the Colts. So, in terms of the AFC South, there's a couple teams that you could argue for, and they're all just very different. I feel that the Colts win it. That would be my personal pick. I don't know if you agree or not. I'm assuming you do.
I think the Colts do win it. I think the Titans are a close second.
Now, that's what I wanted to debate about.
Okay.
So, I feel really strongly Colts top.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacksonville. Bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's a real argument to be made here, or like a real comparison to be done between the Texans and the Titans. And just like sort of look at those teams a little bit closer. Because I wouldn't be shocked either way here, but I think that there's just a strong argument to be made. So head coach, I will give that to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Tough.
Tennessee, because it's proven.
Yeah, we got Warren Moon or Deshaun Watson. I'm going to go Warren Moon.
I'll go Warren Moon.
But that is not a landslide.
No, Deshaun Watson, when it's all said and done, assuming
Yeah.
take all the personal shit off.
Yeah.
Take all the off the field shit off of this, assuming none of this is. Assuming all goes according to plan, Deshaun Watson assumably will be in the conversation.
Definitely. So right now we got 2-zip Titans.
Yeah.
Backfield's Titans.
Yeah.
3-zip Titans. Wide receiver, Houston landslide.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3-1 Titans. Tight end. I mean, I think I'd probably go to Laney Walker
Titans.
over Owen
Titans.
Daniels. Do we want to count that as a receiver though? Because it kind of is.
Okay, do you just want to go receiving options?
I was about to say,
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, so I think we keep 3-1.
Keep the 3-1.
O-line.
Titans.
I'm going to go Titans.
Yeah, you go Titans.
So we got 4-1 Titans on offense. D-line, I'm going Texans.
Yeah.
So 2-4.
Yeah.
Linebackers, I'm also going Texans.
Yeah.
So 3-4. And now we get into the secondary.
I'll go Titans.
And I'm not sure I would.
Think of secondary. Are we doing secondary completely like safeties and corners, or are we going corners then safeties?
Well, I'll say it like this. I'd rather have the Texans corners but the Titans safeties.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think I'd rather have the Titans safeties and deal and trust the Titans corners than I would be to like I would much rather have the Titans safeties and deal with the Titans corners than I would want the corners of the Texans and deal with the safeties. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
I think I'd rather take the over the top of the I don't know. It's tough.
I'm trying to imagine right now if these two teams played each other, how this would go. Because to me it's pretty simple in terms of, I think the Texans secondary could nullify those receivers. Again, the running back thing is fucking blasphemy. I think that this is ever so narrowly the Titans.
Yeah.
But that's real close.
Give the Titans the edge for sure, but I don't think the Texans are super far off.
No, I think really the biggest difference is legitimately just like if the Texans had one good safety in their history, they could edge the Titans here. I think the Texans' defense is better in general, but
well, yeah.
This is close, but yeah, I think I would agree with. I think I'll agree with you.
I think Titans.
Colts, Titans, hair Texans, down to Jags.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, so as of right now, our division winners for the AFC so far: Pats in the East, Steelers in a nasty way in the North, Colts from the South. I think that feels right.
Sounds right, actually.
Yeah, that feels
Sounds
right.
like classic football.
Yeah, that feels right. The bottom
sounds like watching Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger just winning their divisions again.
We do some modern quarterbacks, don't we? Shit.
Which all three of them are the starting quarterbacks.
They are.
Yeah.
And now at the bottoms, because we are also doing the bottom, like who's got the worst all time. At the bottom, we got the Jets, Bengals, and the Jags. How does it feel to be in that company, by the way? That feels right, too. If you really think about, like, the last couple of years.
Browns definitely feel like they should be below us for sure, which is why
I know. I just enjoyed getting you there.
It's honestly, it's fine. Because like, the future is bright.
That's fair. That is fair. I'll give you that.
The future is bright.
While the past might not have been all that bright, the future is.
Exactly, and I'm very excited about what we got going on, and Joe Burrow's looking great.
Now next
post-appendectomy.
There you go. Now next week though, so yeah, Colts win this, Jags bottom.
Yep.
We'll get into the wild cards later when we get through this, but next week, AFC West. So Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders. I think this is going to be one of the more competitive races.
I think the Broncos
potentially.
I think the Broncos won it.
No, I agree that going in, my thought is the Broncos, but I think historically this is a division that's been pretty talented.
Oh yeah.
So I think that this is one that anything could happen. I think it's pretty easy to be like Denver might have the best history of them or something like that. That's an easy assumption to make. I think it's safe to assume Denver won't be the fourth team. But I think that all three of those other ones are not going to be bad. I think that this, like the AFC South, we suspected coming in, there might be a doormat in this division.
Yeah.
I don't think we get the same thing from the AFC West. I think all four of them are very, very live.
Yeah, I think it's down to the wire. I think we'll have a hearty debate.
Yes, we will.
Who falls where in the division. But
definitely.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean,
we shall see.
Yeah.
But that'll wrap us up for today. Thanks again for tuning in. See you guys next time.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Have a good night.